It's your man Delvin. Welcome to Delvin's Room, and today I want to talk with y'all about one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the best movies of the 2000s, period. The Devil Wears Prada. Yes, can you believe this film is turning 19 years old this year? And for the last couple years, there's been a raging debate on the internet. Who was the real villain? Now, it should be understood to most people that Miranda was the villain. The way that the movie portrayed her as the cruel, calculated, mean boss in the workplace, most people would think she's the villain. A lot of people seen it that way, right? But as the years go on and as this film get older, a lot of people don't see Miranda as the villain as they once did. They was like, hey, this lady is very successful. She's boss worthy, she's a hard worker. She's just passionate about what she sees and what she wants to do in the fashion industry, right? So a lot of people are starting to have sympathy towards Miranda in the way that she lived her life, because she was just wanting to be successful and she wanted to make everybody else a success around her. So a lot of people have grown to believe that it was Nate that was the villain, right? Nate, the boyfriend that has a very miserable attitude, very lazy outlook on life. He looks at people that's driven and hard working as people that's just not right. He sees people that's trying to achieve things as just being too ambitious, too goal oriented, and that bothers him, right? So I can see how people would say Nate is the villain. But no, Nate is not the villain. That's who Andrea wanted. So how could she say Nate is the villain? Because Andrea, you was just like Nate before you met Miranda. You was miserable. You was lazy. You laughed at the same things that Nate laughed at. Nate is not the villain. So who is the true villain in this movie? I will tell you right now. The true villain in The Devil Wears Prada is not Miranda, is not Nate. It is the main character, Andrea. Yes, she has very many manipulative ways about herself, right? She's always trying to play the victim in every scenario. So you might not even catch her ways. You might not even catch her being the villain, because she's mentally manipulating you to believe she's the victim when she's not. Miranda just tried to pull the best out of Andrea. So she made her do things that she didn't want to do to make her be better. And guess what? She became better. And to understand her manipulative ways, watch the scene where she eats dinner with her father.
Being Miranda's assistant opens a lot of doors. Emily is going to Paris with Miranda in a few months, and she's going to meet editors and writers from every important magazine, and in a year that could be me.
Yes. Did you see the look on her father's face? You can tell what he was thinking. He was saying, this is just another phase for her. Because he said she went to law school, she dropped that, then she became a journalist, now she's dropping that to become an assistant to Miranda. Just going from place to person to place to person to place to person. Now, the great thing about Miranda is, which is why I can't say Miranda is a full villain, because she made Andrea better. Andrea went to her wearing goofy clothes, had a piss poor attitude about life, and she changed her into being coordinated, ambitious, hardworking, caring about how she looks. But at the end, she just walks away from all that. She walks away from the better life that Miranda helped her achieve, became a better person. All she did was use Miranda. How's Miranda the villain, right? How could Miranda be the villain? Because she made her work hard? Now, Miranda is cruel. I will say that 100,000%. Miranda is cruel. She was out of her mind when she tried to make her find some type of plane when there was a hurricane in Florida. Like, no, you're not. I don't even think they would do that for the president. So that's impossible, right? So I get what people would say, how cruel and severe Miranda can be. But Andrea knew this, and Andrea kept going. To me, Miranda is just a drama queen, and once you understand that, you can kind of work around that. That's why I think Emily worked well around Miranda, because she understood Miranda is always going to be dramatic. She's always going to be over the top. But Andrea, after a while, she knew this, and she just kept it going. Now, the reason I say Nate is not a villain is because that's who Andrea was with before Miranda. So this lazy, miserable guy that she was in love with before, guess what? That's who she chose. Nobody made Andrea date Nate. She presented herself to Nate one way and became another. So how could you really say Nate is a villain? What? Because this relationship that they built together, he was still committed to being that way, and she changed? No, you don't get to just up and change who you are one day and then get mad at the other person. She could have just told Nate from the beginning, hey, I'm gone, Nate, instead of cheating on Nate, basically. Even though, I mean, she broke it off before she went and cheated with the guy at Paris, so I give her that. But she broke Nate's heart. Nate was a miserable, piss poor bastard, but at the same time, Andrea, that's who you love. That's who you was with. That's who you believed in, right? Even, here goes another one. She even manipulated Emily. Remember when Emily got sick and Miranda said she didn't want to take her to Paris, and it really broke her down? I mean, she even got into the accident, and she couldn't go to Paris no more. What did Andrea do? She still took the position, which I get it, but she still tried to play victim, and that's what makes her a manipulative villain, because she could just be honest and be ambitious. Hey, this is an opportunity for me, and I'm gonna do it. Yo, Andrea was something else. But nonetheless, Devil Wears Prada has mastered time, and it only gets better. I love these conversations that people have online, because it lets you know this movie, whenever it does hit 20, 30 years, 40 years from now, this movie is still going to hold the test of time. It was hilarious. It was funny. And it's left us with a lot of things to think about in this movie. And would you believe this movie really, it only costed $40 million. Now, that's still a lot of money, but for the names they have in this, and Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, these are some big names, and only $40 million. The movie made back $300 million, so it's a cult classic. It should have won more awards to me. It didn't really win a lot of awards. It won an Oscar for costume design and it won a Golden Globe for Miranda with Meryl Streep, but I thought it deserved a little bit more. But nonetheless, still an iconic classic movie that I still enjoyed. I watched it recently, and the more and more I watch it, the more and more I realize Andrea was the villain.